Including other law enforcement agencies like your Metro Police, we're having over 10,000, not forgetting Gauteng traffic wardens, which there are over 8,000. What we have done, we have taken an approach to ensure that the district commissioners within the district, they have to do that link with the security industry, with the community, with the other stakeholders. We have structured or well-structured coordination in terms of that with the community. Even other businesses, they come for to say, here we are, because if we have the repeat of 2021 civil unrest, it's going to affect quite a number of communities. We know for the fact that we're affected in terms of the malls. We are affected even in terms of the transport mode which we have to use. So all those role players which I have reflected or indicated, they are party thereof in ensuring that the province it is safe.
Could you maybe just give us an indication in terms of the crime stats that you just presented? As much as the province is doing a lot better, there are still concerns, and maybe if you could just tell us what those concerns are that you think need some attention.
Once more again, thank you very much. There's still a concern. The chairperson have shared here. They appreciate is from him. They appreciate for the downward trend, but the numbers is still quite high, and of which we concede as a South African Police Service. As I've indicated, or we concerned as a law enforcement agency, as I've indicated, the ICVPS, the whole government approach, these 6 pillars, we are in principle applying it. We are, of course, having some of the crimes which it is a concern. Like out of 17 community reported crimes, we managed to reduce 15, of which is 2, the arson and commercial crime. But the other concern is the concern of kidnapping, of which we had a total of 2,404. But take note that the high number or high percentages of those kidnappings is for carjackings. In other words, the intention is to take the car, because we're having 1,307, and the 415 is for robbery purposes. So there's quite numbers, of which those numbers, they affect individuals in terms of kidnapping. We know for the fact that we have the anti-national kidnapping team which works with us. We're having our organized crime. We're having the E2 project. I think during my opening remarks I've touched it, but I must indicate that the E2 project, the security industry, recently we had an 11-year-old Chinese girl who was kidnapped. Through their collaborations with our team, we managed to rescue that girl on Monday last week, 4 o'clock in the morning. But over and above that, we had one of the sensitive case kidnapping for a 9-year-old girl, Chinese, who was kidnapped for 58 days. Though instantly, we managed to get the car which was used, but it was abandoned, with the AK-47 and the ammunitions. And ultimately, we arrested 4 people. That the girl was still kept against her will. But we ultimately resolved that case. What I'm trying to say is that these collaborations is very important. These collaborations goes a long way. These collaborations will also assist us in dealing with the civil unrest sentiment which is coming forth. But I can say, based on the collective which I chair and direct, we are confident that we'll be in a position to can deal with the eventualities which will come.
Commissioner, just a quick one. How real is the threat when it comes to that day of the 30th of June, using the experience of the previous marches in the province So how real is that threat? And do you think there might be a need to add some numbers on the ground outside the normal operations? But secondly, have you maybe engaged with the people or the organizations that might have been identified as the organizers of the 30th of March marches?
Well, any information which comes for, whether people they take it, maybe let me put it in this way, you categorize it as a low, medium, high risk, or you rate it low up to high. As the law enforcement agency, as the South African Police Service, we're taking every bit of information quite seriously. Based on our strategic operational implementation, even if we get an information of which when you rate it, it does not show there, we are on day-to-day basis put a plan, mitigate whatever we think of, even if we get a pamphlet which says we have retracted, we are no longer going to participate. We will, of course, continue to ensure that we don't say we are going to take away our plans. In relations to the engagement, we are really open. We engage any communities, but you'll take note that when people are focused on doing something, even if you engage them, sometimes it will be difficult. You can convince them to say, don't do 1, 2, 3. As I've indicated, even yesterday, I had an engagement with some of the people who will help us. Within the communities, we are out there. And we are in Soweto, we are in Thembisa. But I think what is critical is what the chairperson have indicated to say this issue has to be taken higher. Even the provincial legislature, the portfolio committee has to ensure that they also assist. There is a concern for the community and look as to say how best can we deal with this together.
Update on the officer who was caught returning some bribe this week.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I spoke on Saturday. There were 3 media houses, and then I've spoken about it. I have clearly indicated that we have since identified the member, and I had interaction with the person who's in charge, the commander for public order policing in Johannesburg. My deputy, I assigned him because we managed to get the contact number for the complainant. And then we were in a position yesterday to facilitate to meet the complainant, because on the other hand, you have to have a case thereof. And I have also since engaged with the IPID. The IPID, they contacted me, but also to indicate that we really would like to welcome this typical type of actions by the community. As we know for the fact these things happens within the community, and we condemn these typical type of actions by these police officials. I have since shared on Saturday the anti-corruption hotline, which we can use, which is 0800 701 701, as well as the National Complaints toll-free number or toll line, which is 0800 333 177. And of course, we're having also a WhatsApp, which can be used, which is 0720135569. And I have indicated as a province, we are really committed to ensure that we get those police officials, those who are really out of line or the rot out of the police officials. For the financial year 2025-2026, of which we're presenting the last quarter crime statistics, we have since fired 27 police officials for corruption.
Commissioner, do you have any intelligence with regards to foreign nationals and what they might be planning in terms of retaliating against any action on the 30th of June? Anything on that end?
Yeah, well, intelligence is something which we collate on a daily basis. The province is formidable in terms of crime intelligence. We're having a provincial aide for the intelligence who's on the level of a general, Major General Kalakala, to mention, though is a crime intelligence. So, yeah, yes, of course, we have a pocket of information of which we really deal with it. But the other thing you must take note that these communities which are affected, they are staying within the communities. So we're also having some feed-in information by the communities. I have indicated that within the province we are well structured in terms of community policing forum. We're having over 9,000 community in blue, and of which in terms of our plan, we have also made sure that each and every district, we're having a specific person who is like in charge of the community whom we can link up with those numbers. You know, we're having 5 districts, so goes for each and every district so that we can have that. So intelligence, do we get it? I'll say yes, and we process it accordingly with our intelligence branch within the province.
You're able to share about what you found from any plans?
Well, intelligence is not something which I can just share publicly. Otherwise, I will also get in trouble. I'm a provincial commissioner, but I can also get in trouble if I just willy-nilly, release the information which we collect.
Last one, the murder rate is quite high, like Ivory Park, and basically we're finding a Cape Flat situation, like interventions of dealing with that particular hotspot.
The numbers is quite high, but when you was listening on the crime statistics which were presented, we have got a reduction. The murders has gone down. But however, these numbers, they are still worrisome. The chairperson have indicated. Your Ivory Park is one of the stations which features in there, frequently which we focus. We also deploy our intelligence in that space. For this past week, I'll say 4 or 3 days back, we also managed to zoom into that space where we have really arrested 2 individuals. Those 2 individuals were having the uniform for the traffic. They also were in possession of the 2-way, some typical type of radio. But further than that, from time to time within that space, as I've indicated that it is falling under the national top 30. It is falling, I think, under the +5 contact crime stations. As I've indicated that the provincial commissioner have dedicated 2 days, or not less than 2 days, working outside there. I've been personal in Ivory Park dealing with those problems in that space. In terms of recoveries of firearms, we are recovering quite a number of firearms in that particular space. So if we collate the information, we can clearly provide it to you. But the numbers, they're still high, but murders, in terms of the statistics, it has been gone down.
Sorry, I just have one last question. I know your arm is about to break.